Hello. All right, I am driving down to the pool. I haven't actually been to the pool in like a couple weeks. So I'm like really wanting to go for a swim tonight, a little bit of a night swim. It is 9:04 and it's dusk out, like it's pink and red over there, it's beautiful. When I drove home from the grocery store, there was nobody at the pool. So I'm hoping that that's the case now, but I don't know. Is there anybody here? I was really just wanting to come to the pool by myself tonight, honestly. Alex is writing some blog entries. He's writing like about American Horror Story or something. I think he's trying to get interviews with the cast of American Horror Story for the next one, because we've interviewed the cast before. We've interviewed Kathy Bates and Angela Bassett. So I think he's trying to get those. And so I decided I was going to come to the pool. Leave my phone in here. I decided I was going to come to the pool. And when I get home, we're going to watch a movie. I think we're going to watch Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy, because I've heard it's pretty good. So yeah, this is me walking to the pool. Can you hear the locusts, the crickets? This is the crickets, the cicada. Please do not sit, stand, there's always a new rule. Please do not sit, stand, or bounce on the buoy rope. That pulls the rope out of the hook. It frays and has to be shortened in order to reattach the hook. This is Adult Swim right now. If my key doesn't work, I'm gonna be pissed. Thank you. And it's absolutely empty. Quiet time at the pool. You can't see the sky anymore, but can you kind of see it? Here, let me see. Ooh, it smells like they just chlorinated the pool. Can you see it over there in the distance? Here, I'll stand up here. Look, you can see the sun just going down. That right there, I'm reaching as high as I can, is an Indiana summer. So, I've had a good day today. I coffee with my friend this evening, and then after that I went to, look at this bathing suit I have. I've never worn this before. Isn't that cute? I went to the grocery store. Ooh, it's kind of chilly. I went to the grocery store, and then I got, because the other day I was talking about the cauliflower risotto. It's like 240 calories for the whole thing. It's like low fat and high protein. And so somebody in the comment section said, you really missed out, you should have gotten it. So I like went back, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get that. So I got that. And then I actually got some cauliflower mixed with, oh no. It's rice, lightly sauced with broccoli. And then I got a veggie burger. So that's what I'm eating for dinner tonight. And Alex had a late lunch. He had a salad and like a chicken, grilled chicken breast from the groceries from Kroger. So he has like half of it in the refrigerator, and he'll probably eat that. And he asked me to bring him home some green apples. So, yeah. I think that's about it. Somebody asked me in the comment section, like, why I haven't ordered my food yet from Alex's thing, or whatever. Which, he is actually wanting to do it again, too, because he's put on, like, 5 pounds or something. And, like, he was doing it still, but he was doing it, like, maintenance-wise. The thing is that, like, we haven't been home at that much during the summer. Why is it, like, fogging up? We haven't been home that much in the summer for me to, like, do it consistently. There's been, like, 3 or 4 weeks here, 3 or 4 weeks there. And when I do it and when I start it, and this is probably all just excuses that I'm making to myself, but they sound like good excuses to me. Like, I don't want to do it and then go to Vegas, you know? But you have to start it at some point. So, I'm going to order the food, and then when I get back from Vegas, which is the first week of September, I'm going to start doing that. I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to even sit here and act for 1 second that I am. Am I excited to get my weight under control? Absolutely. Am I excited to do that? No, not necessarily. And my counselor actually thinks that I really need to start like trying to do healthier living and food before I do some kind of drastic like diet change like this. But maybe I'll do a little bit of both. You can do it like 50-50. There's like, that's what Alex was telling me. There's like 50, you can buy the food and use it for like half the things and then have like a meal. Oh, there's a light. Then you can have the meal. So maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. I'm gonna go sit over here because it's like really bright. There's no reason not to have the pool behind me. I mean, when do I ever record at the pool? Here, let me get my keys and I'll... Ugh. So, what did I do today? I got up, went and got coffee, filmed my videos, and then got my videos uploaded. Oh my god, we got these keys to this wedding, and the key came off the keychain. Alex had it on there. I'll show you. These were the keys that we got from, and it broke. It's a good way to lose the key. Oh, well, I see it. This is like one of those kind of little deals. I'll fix that in a second. But anyway, and then I went and had coffee, and then Alex was on his way home, and so I got the food, and then Alex has been working tonight on the website. It's hot out here, and it's like currently now 9:10, and I haven't even gotten in the pool yet. And that's about it. And then we're gonna watch this movie, and then he's gonna go to bed, and then I'm gonna read, I think. I'll probably watch an episode of Orange is the New Black, because I want to finish it by this weekend. I am really, really into the audiobook of Harry Potter. I don't know, like somebody asked me which narrator it is. I don't know, I'll have to look and let you guys know. But I really like it. It's really good. You hear the cicada? I used to always associate that with going back to school, because I can remember when I was a little kid, my dad would say to me, when the cicada come out, or is that what they're called? It's time to go back to school. Why is this guy standing in his driveway just like looking over here at me? He's like the pool guy. He's like the guy that runs the pool. And he was like taking the trash out, and he like walked out in the driveway, and then he just like stopped and looked at me. I have my key. It's right over there. How do you think I'd be in here otherwise with the heavy security system that we have on in this place? He put his garage door down. I guess he was convinced enough that... When we get back from Vegas, which I'm excited, like Alex and I have been talking about, like we want to do some like we're gonna go see Cascade more there. We're both like huge Cascade fans. And I really want to see, we're trying to see her while we're there. I don't know if she'll be there. Nora and Pure, the DJ, she's like my all-time favorite DJ. But we're trying to do some like romantic stuff too. We're looking at some of the shows. We've been to so many Cirque du Soleil shows. I don't think we're going to do another one of those. But I'm looking at like Le Rêve. I think it's at the Encore. So if anybody's seen that, let me know what you think. I also am looking at Love, the Beatles one. I don't really have any desire to see the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil show. Love is a Cirque du Soleil show too. I don't know what else. We were looking at some other, there was one other one. Oh, the Baz Luhrmann one. Oh, the other one that we were thinking about seeing, this is the one we probably will see, is actually at Caesar's Palace, and it's called Absinthe. Because when we were getting married that year, it had just opened, and all, like the whole cast was at the Cosmopolitan where we were staying. And they were like all drinking, and they were leaving, and they looked really, really fun, and like we were talking to them as we were like waiting for a cab and stuff. So I think we might go see Absinthe at Caesar's Palace. I don't know. We'll just see. There's a lot of things I want to do. We're not real big into shopping in Vegas. I know a lot of people go out there for that, but it's kind of like once you go out there, it's like so expensive if you start shopping. And the year that we got married, we were out there so long that we did do some shopping, and we actually bought another suitcase. Because it was easier to, it was cheaper to buy a third suitcase, excuse me, and ship it, like, you know, bring it on the air. It was easier to pay the $25 than it was to have our suitcases be over, because they were so heavy. So we just bought a third suitcase, and it was this gaudy as hell suitcase that has Las Vegas skylight all over it, you know. And I can remember we were like arguing over who was going to push it through the mall, because we bought it in the mall at Planet Hollywood, and we were so embarrassed to push this thing through the mall. So we had it timed down that like each one of us had to like push this thing for 5 minutes. It's so silly in retrospect, you know. Oh gosh, the funny things that couples go through. It's crazy to me that we've been together 10 years. When I met Pee-Pee, he was 2 years old. And now he's 12. And Boo and Tucker weren't even alive. I should have been in the pool already, because somebody's probably coming over here to go swimming. I remember the first time that I ever saw Pee-Pee. I was like, Alex was like taking a shower and getting ready, and I was like sitting on his bed. And Pee-Pee was like hiding under the covers, and like Alex had told me he had him, but I didn't know like where he was, you know, whatever. And this was at his mom's house. And so I sort of a sudden, I see like the covers moving, and then Pee-Pee just like dashed out of them and like went out in the hall, and he was like chasing the cats, and he was like, vroom, 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 and it was hilarious. And then he came back and he just like looked at me, and then he darted off again. And we've been best friends ever since then. Little guy, I love him so much. Oh well, let's see. I think I'm gonna get off here and go for a swim, and I will be back in a little while, you guys, okay? Bye. Because my last performance in the pool did so well, I thought, well, can you see I'm keeping it like right here? I thought, well, I'll show you guys a little bit more of me in the pool. I'll talk a little bit more about the pool. I love the pool so much. It's kind of nice to have, like, I know we pay like this extraordinarily high like homeowners association fee to be able to have the pool, but like at night, like hardly anybody's ever here. There's only been like one night this whole summer that I've come where there's been like a lot of people here. And so it's really nice to have, you know, it's kind of like having a backyard pool of your own, but then you don't have to deal with all of like, you know, the maintenance and the keeping it together and all that kind of stuff. So should we try for another screenshot? Secrets from the pool part 2. Anyway. Hi. It's really nice. I thought it was cold at first, but it's not cold at all. It's really warm. Feels perfect. It's not like bath water warm, but it's like warm enough. My mom and I, when I was like, not 15, when I was like in my 20s before she passed away. Well, she passed away when I was 36. So like after we got sober, I would come over here, my friend Krista and I would, and we would swim with her, and we would like hold our leg back like this, and then we would like, you know, like pull on each other to see who could go underneath the water first. And like this is kind of like a running joke with like all of my friends like that knew my mom back then, especially Tanya, because this one time my mom was up here at the pool, and I was with her, and we were like laying out, and there was like 10 people, right? And the pool was like completely packed, and my mom was like, I pay my HOA fee, so I'm gonna swim my laps, because she was always like trying to be real healthy, right? Like walking or swimming laps. So she's like, she started over there at the end of the pool, can you see? Okay, and then she went all the way down there, and she's doing like the backstroke. And this is, to this day, okay, Tanya will get in the car every once in a while if we're talking about going for a swim, and she'll go, just doing the backstroke, folks, just doing the backstroke. Cause she's like, my mom's like going through like, all these people like hanging out in the pool, and she's like, just doing the backstroke, folks, just doing the backstroke. It's kind of fun talking to you guys while I'm in the pool, because it feels like I'm up here with somebody. I said to Alex, I go, do you want to come to the pool? He was like, you know I would love to, but I have to get this stuff done. And I go, okay. He goes, well, what time is the pool closed? And I said 11. He goes, well, do you want to watch the movie or do whatever? Or do you want me to go to the pool with you? And I said, it's up to you. We can go to the pool tomorrow if you want to. He was like, okay. So we're going to go up here probably tomorrow night after he gets off work, if we don't end up doing something with his family or something. My nephew started school this week, and I think he's in kindergarten. I talked about this last night. They put up all these videos of him getting on the school bus. It's so sweet. So I think we're going to probably go over there and see them sometime. There's like these toys at the bottom of the pool that people did not pick up. That they're like diving toys, you know. Did you guys ever do that? We didn't have those kind of toys back in the day. We had like pennies and dimes and stuff that we would die for in quarters. There's a walker. She's walking down the street. She's probably like, who is he talking to? There's nobody else in there. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to you right now. Hey. Hey, people. We would go to the pool all the time when I was a kid, and like, my dad had like an apartment pool when he moved out until he moved into his house. I was 12 when he moved into his house, and after that, like, I was in the pool every day in the summer that I was at my dad's house. But I always grew up like being able to play in the pool by myself for like a really long time. Like, I could just play and invent games, and I was always being like some kind of spy that had to like find my way around. It was funny because like Alex was up here the last time that he came up. Like, he went swimming with me for a couple minutes. He's not like big on night swims, and so he came up here for a little bit, and we were just like sitting here talking, and I go, look what I can do. And I was like, because the pool is kind of like slanted, and so like I was like, look. I was like walking around the pool, the edge of the pool, under the water. He goes, that's really a talent. I go, shut up. I bet you can't do it. And he goes, no, you're right, I can't do it. I go, you're not even any fun. He goes, I have 2 younger brothers, Peter. I had to deal with this stuff growing up. I go, well, it's pretty much a talent. So, so the other day when he was in the pool, I was like, can you do it? And he goes, no. And then like 5 minutes later, I was looking at him, and he was like this. He was trying to figure it out. I go, you're trying to figure it out. He goes, shut up. I go, you can't figure it out. It's hard, isn't it? So I used to always like do little games like that. They were very always like Olympic games. Like, you had to like achieve some kind of Olympic event, if that makes sense. I was always the winner. I mean, it was just me, but I was always the winner. That's the one thing about being an only child when you play by yourself. You're pretty much always the winner, because except for my mom and I, we would play games when I was growing up, like Monopoly and stuff like that. And she would like, it was like, we would get to a point where it was like so obvious that she was going to be the winner of the game. Or we would play like Old Maid or something. And she would say, sweetie, do you want me to let you win? And I would be like, no. And she would say, I mean, this is when I was like little, you know. And she would say, I'm not teaching you anything by letting you win, but I know I don't want you to be upset. I never got upset when I lost games. I could care less. And it was just like, we just turned around and played another one. That's what you do. You just play 15 games of Monopoly in a row, you know. Anyway, God, I miss playing Monopoly. People don't play Monopoly as they get older. They don't play games. Like we do. Like Tanya loves to play games. Like if we get together like as a group, we'll play like Apples to Apples, or Alex really likes, we have like 3 of the card decks for Cards Against Humanity. Alex really likes that game a lot. So when we go to his family's house, we play it. But I have to say that the humor a lot of times is missed on them, because they don't speak English. So, and then there's another game that Tanya likes a lot. Can't remember what it's called. She plays this card game, Zonks or something like that. Nerds. I don't know how to play it, but she's like always like, you need to come over and we're gonna play Nerds. I'm like, okay. This one summer, because we used to always get together like as a group of like, you know, sobriety people, and we would always play like games after meetings and stuff like that. And like even like the people that like drank, like Alex and Eric and stuff, would be like over there, and we'd all like just be like hanging out and whatever, playing games at Tanya's house on her patio. And so this one night it was just like Tanya and I, and Tanya goes, I'm so tired of never having anybody to play games with anymore. I go, I know, we don't have all the people anymore. She's like, Eric doesn't like to play games anymore. Alex doesn't like to play any games anymore. And she goes, let's just you and I play a game. And I go, okay. So she bought this game called Headbands. And you wore these headbands, right? And then you put like a card in it, and like the other person had to guess it. And it was like, then you did something with your phone too. I don't know. Let me just tell you, okay, how boring this game was for 2 people to play. We were real over it in about 5 minutes. Tony goes, this is so boring. Let's just talk. I said, okay, we'll just talk. We used to play, Tanya and I used to play Scruples a lot too, like where we would just like bring up a topic and then ask the other person. This is, I think, actually, I mean, it's not the way that we got there, but like, I've talked about this a lot. Like, Tanya and I have varying degrees on a lot of issues. Like, we just always don't see eye to eye, but we respect the other person's opinion, right? And I think that like one of the ways that we got there was that we talked a lot about, like, we would play this game called Scruples. Well, there was actually a game called Scruples back in the day where you would bring up a topic and then, like, everybody would sit around and talk about it or something like that. I can't remember. I can see it in my head. It was like a black box and it said Scruples in the middle of it in white. And it was very much like, you know, the analogies, like, if you're going to go on a desert island, like, what 2 people would you take with you for the rest of your life? Or, you know, like, and I'm being very tame. I mean, some of them were like, you know, if you could do this, but save 1 million people, would you do it? That kind of thing. And so Tanya and I, like, we would have a lot of those conversations about things, you know, like, and Alex and I have actually had a lot of those conversations about things. The thing about Alex that's hard is that, like, he will say, like, he doesn't like hypothetical issues, right? So if I said that to him, he's like, he'll just go, it'll never happen. And I'm like, okay, that's not the point of the conversation. What would you do? And he was like, okay, well, if I was in that situation, this is what I would do. And, so, let me save this little moth right here. There you go. I think it's important, though, like, in marriage, like, I think if Alex and I, there are some things that we very much see eye to eye on, if that makes sense. But then I think it's important to have a varying, not just a varying degree of interests, but a varying degree of philosophies and opinions about things. I think it keeps the relationship interesting because you constantly grow, you know? And I can tell you that, like, 10 years ago when we got together, how I felt about some things is not how I feel about them today. And I know that he would say the same thing. He would say, like, yeah, I used to feel so strongly about this and I don't anymore. Or, you know, I used to I could care less about it and now I feel very strongly about it. So I think it's interesting how your opinions change over time, you know, don't you think, over things? And I think, like, one of the keys to, like, a lasting marriage is allowing not trying to change the other person, but allowing the other person to change on their own and respecting that, you know? Like, I think that's important. And allowing the other person to have their own interests and creative interests, you know? Like, you don't have to have the same interests always, I think. Like, I love music festivals, but I don't love them anywhere near like Alex does, which is why, like, when he wants to go to stuff, I'm like, okay, go, have at it. I'm not gonna go to this one. And, I mean, and, you know, likewise with, like, YouTube and stuff. I mean, he's interested in the process, but, like, other than that, like, he doesn't watch any YouTube. None whatsoever. He watches, like, all the videos on Instagram, like, all the memes and stuff. So, but, like, with traveling and all that kind of stuff, like, that's, like, one area that we, like, really, like, we're talking a lot about next year and, like, places that we want to go. We want to take, like, one really big trip. I talked about this last night. We don't want it to be like our Miami trip. Like, we want to go somewhere like Myland, like Thailand, or we are thinking about maybe like the south, like Italy, or the south of France, somewhere over there. He really wants to do that. I would say that's on my bucket list too. I would say it's like my 5th or 6th. That's like his like 2 or 3. Both of us really want to go to Portugal. So I think that will probably be a place that we go in the near future. And then we want to do a lot of small little trips too. My Aunt Susie lives in Colorado. We want to go out there and go skiing this winter. Alex has never skied in his entire life. And I really want to, like, he's really excited. He's like, will you show me how to ski? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Because I grew up skiing. And he's like, is it hard? He gets like real nervous talking about it. It's cute. He's like, is it hard? I'm like, no, Alex, you'll be totally fine. We'll go down like the easy ones first, you know? And he's like, okay. He's like, I think I'd like to try it. He's like, could we do snowboarding? I'm like, well, I don't know a whole lot about snowboarding. You could try it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. We want to do some trips to like upstate Michigan, and upstate Michigan is beautiful. And, you know, go to Vegas, Miami, of course, stuff like that. I would really, like I was talking about this last night, I would really like to go to Washington, D.C., and I think I want to either do it in the spring or the fall. So we'll see. Alex would love to go to Washington, D.C. too. So, like, that's the trip that we've actually talked about. And we could do that, like a 3-day trip. So we like to get excited talking about, you know, traveling and stuff. And we talked to Melissa and Jason a lot last night about Miami and what we're going to do. And yeah, so it's fun. I think sometimes my favorite things about marriage are just coming home on the nights like tonight when it's just like like nothing big deal is going on. You want to watch a movie? Sure, let's eat some food and watch a movie. You know what I mean? Like, those are sometimes my favorite moments about me and marriage. About being married, you know? He was telling me tonight, because he took all these self-defense classes through his work the other day. They had to do like self-defense training. So he was like it's like, is it like focusing in and out? Maybe it's like because of the water. I apologize if it is, but he was like teaching me like these self-defense moves. I won't tell you how that ended up. But anyway, he was teaching me about these self-defense moves. He's like, and I was like laughing the whole time. He's like, no, this is like really important. Like, we need to know this. I said, okay. I said, I learned all, like one of them was like how to get somebody to like stop holding on your hair. I was like, I learned this when I worked in treatment. Like, we learned these things back in the day. He's like, well, I have new ones. And so he showed me some new ones. And he was taking it really serious. He's like, well, we have to know this stuff. Like, this is important. I go, it is important. And it's important. We got laughing so hard, both of us. So anyway. I don't know how self-defense turns into wrestling, but somehow it kind of did. Is this somebody coming down here? No. I can't believe that nobody's come to the pool since the whole time that I've been here. It's my pool, and I'll do what I want to. You better keep away if you know what's good for you. Oh, don't anybody come down here. Just let this be my pool forever. Well, I think I'm gonna get out of the pool now and go and see if my hubby is done with his article and if he wants to watch the movie now. I'm basically holding myself up on the wall by my knees. Look, Mom, no hands. What was the thing you would say when you would ride the bike? Yeah, look, Mom, no hands. Very serious. Wherever you're going, take me with you, please. Are you guys having a good evening? Are you ready for summer to settle down? Are you ready for summer to be over, or do you want summer to last forever? I want summer to last forever. I love summer so much. I love just like looking at Alex and being like, do you want to go up to the gas station and get a smoothie or something? Like, not a smoothie, but a slushie. Or we'll be sitting there watching TV and he'll be like, do you want to go to the gas station and get like an ice cream bar? I'm like, yeah. A Klondike bar. Those are the things I love about summer. Or like standing outside or sitting on our back patio as like the dogs are running around and stuff like that. We always have so much fun out there now. I love that we got that patio furniture. Like, best buy in the last 2 years that we've made. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna get off here and I will be back a little bit later. I love you. I hope you're having a wonderful time watching my fantastic vlog of the world in the pool. Bye. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Okay. So I'm currently cooking my dinner, which is this cauliflower. It's by Alexia, cauliflower risotto. And it is, the whole container is 240 calories. And, well, I guess it is kind of high in fat. It's 14 grams of fat for the whole container, 10 grams of protein. But it makes so much. Like, I put it in this container. It like fills up one of these whole containers. I was just showing Alex. And then I wanted to try these Dr. Prager's Southwest hash browns. And they come like this. I'm just gonna make 2 of them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 8 in a package. So that is my dinner tonight. Yeah, and we're getting ready to watch the movie that I wanted to watch. What's the movie I wanted to watch called? Life of the Party. We're not able to watch it. We can't find it to download. So Alex has said that he has. Say hello to the people. Hi, people.
Hi.
Hi. He's been working hard. Hi, Pee-Pee. So we're gonna watch. What's it called? Quiet Place. So we're gonna watch Quiet Place. He's finishing up his blog post real quick. So he's busy right now, which is why I'm cooking. And then I gotta go change. I still have my bathing suit on. And then we're gonna do that. Here, I'll show you what this risotto looks like. So you take it out. I'm basically the cook of the world, so. You see? Oh, it smells really good. And then I think you cook it for another, stir it. It's kind of watery. Stir and replace. Cover. Microwave an additional 1 to 2 minutes. 1 to 1.5 minutes. Stir. So, excuse me, peeps. And that is dinner! Pee-pee. Good morning, Mr. Pee-pee, and how are you today? Come here. Say hi to all the people. Good morning, Mr. Pee-pee, and how are you today? He's looking at all the food. The mice are in the kitchen, and they want to see you play. Go up into the pantry. What do you see up there, Pee-pee? We got all kinds of teas. You want a tea? What do you want? Oh, I know what you want that's kept up in the cupboard. The TREATS's. Did you give them TREATS's when you brought them in? Yeah. He's my husband. Very busy at work. This is what my husband looks like when he is seriously working hard. Would you rather have a desk in the house, or would you rather have a couch to work on?
I'd rather my back not hurt.
Oh, does your back still hurt? People were asking about that actually on the vlog, like if you found out anything about your back. He hasn't found out anything about his back yet. His back has really been hurting him. You think it's our bed?
No. It's my nerve and I gained 10 pounds.
Oh, he said it's his nerve and he's gained 10 pounds. All right, well, I'm gonna go change my bathing suit. We're gonna eat dinner and watch this movie, so. Oh, he's like in pain. I can see him stretching. All right, guys, I will see you a little bit later. Bye. How do I turn this? Okay, we decided to watch The Real Housewives of Orange County instead, but I just want to say, this risotto tastes like shit. It tastes like literally just like mashed cauliflower. No taste to it whatsoever. But this Green Goddess, rice, cheese, lightly sauced, is like 100% better. And it's less calories, less fat. Go for this. I said to say that. Oh, but these little Dr. Prater things, they're really cute. I have to try one. Those are really good. I really like those. Okay, bye. Hello. How are you guys doing? Oh my God, you guys. It is like after 5 o'clock in the morning. I crashed out. We didn't end up watching a movie. We ended up watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of the Orange County of OC. And then afterwards, I had recorded this show that was the documentary behind like putting Jaws together, the movie Jaws. It's actually really good. It was just something that was on cable. And I recorded it like a week and a half ago. And so we watched like 20 minutes of it. And then I said, I was like so tired. I told Alex, I said, I'm gonna lay down for a little bit before I vlog. And it was like 10:30. And he goes, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. So we went upstairs, excuse me. We went upstairs and I didn't set an alarm because I thought, I was tired, but I would like, I thought I would wake up. I completely crashed out. I woke up at like, well, it's after 5. I woke up like 20 minutes ago. And the reason I woke up was, so I'm like, am like awake. I've had like my sleep now. This is the problem. This is why I don't go to bed early, because then I would be up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning because I can only sleep so much every night. But Boo Radley was like barking in his sleep. And I was like, Boo, I go, stop. And Alex goes, he's dreaming, sweetie. He's having like a nightmare or something. And it was so cute. Like he was like all rolled together and he was just like, arr, 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 arr. He was like barking in his sleep. I wonder what he was barking at. Do you ever wonder what dogs like dream about? I slept so well. Our bedroom was like so cozy, so comfortable. And I just completely like crashed out. There's a motorcycle guy over there. So anyway, Yeah. There's a lot of people. It's interesting. I drove over to that little town again because I was just like kind of listening to my audiobook waking up before I vlogged. It's interesting like how many people are out on the road at, what time is it? It's 5:24 in the morning. So I got up and I took the dogs out, and then why is this light not changing? I took the dogs out, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go vlog. So I listened to my audiobook for a little bit. I was filling a bottle of water in the kitchen, and then I realized that I had one more LaCroix. I kind of like this stuff now. I think I want to just start keeping, like, we've never been somebody that's like kept like, you know, cans of diet. Well, Alex doesn't drink really any soda whatsoever. Like if we go, every once in a while, like if we go somewhere, he'll get like a Coke for dinner, but very rarely. He usually always drinks water, and always has since I've known him. I always get water too. I always usually get a water and then like a root beer or a Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb if they have it, depending on what they have. But when I had those new Diet Cokes that had like, you know, like the blood orange one and stuff, and I kept those, it was kind of nice having those in the house, that I could just pull one out of the fridge whenever I wanted to, and it was nice having these too, and it's cheap. Like the cases are like $3 for mine, or not the cases, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 of them. So I'm thinking about like maybe getting a couple more of them and having them just in the fridge for, because Alex likes these too. So, which is kind of interesting. Maybe I could just switch over to that instead of drinking soda at all. We were watching The Real Housewives of Orange County tonight. This is so stupid that I'm going to talk about this. But if you guys watch it, it was about the part where Kelly and Vicky are kind of getting into it because, well, Kelly will never let anything drop. But I have to say I side with Kelly on this one. So Kelly and her husband are divorced, and Vicky kind of hooked up Kelly's ex-husband with another woman and then went on a double date with him, right? And so Kelly's really pissed about it. But they go out, that's not what I'm talking about on here, but they go out to lunch or coffee, and there's like this whole interchange where Kelly starts kind of being a little disrespectful to Vicky about what she did, which rightfully so. Like Alex and I were talking about it, and Alex is like, I was like, what do you think about this? He was like, if one of our friends hooked you up with somebody else after we broke up, like, I'd be really pissed. Like, I'd be really hurt, you know? And I'd be like, you would be? And he'd be like, yeah. He was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that a little bit. But anyway, he's like, no, I'd be really hurt if one of our friends hooked you up with somebody after we broke up. And, so this part was interesting when Vicky was talking about, she goes, well, I demand respect or something. And Kelly's like, you demand it? And she's like, you don't demand respect, you like earn respect. And Vicky's like, I will have respect. Meaning from Kelly, right? And this whole idea of respect is so interesting to me, you know, that we talk about in our country, like, or in the world. You know, that I demand respect or I'll have respect. You know, I'm a real believer that respect is earned. I really, you know, and back in the day, like, especially, you know, like having like worked with adolescents back in the day, and they would say things to me like, why should I respect you if you don't respect me? And I'd be like, okay, I'll give you respect first, and that's how we'll build a relationship. It's just not that hard to give somebody the respect they ask for, you know? I think that people deserve to be treated like human beings. I think people deserve to be treated like, you know, when we're talking to one another, talking to somebody. What I don't understand a lot about the world is we learn this stuff like in kindergarten, but then like we forget it as we get older, you know, like the golden rule, you know, and treat other people the way that you would want to be treated, you know? I mean, I really don't understand it sometimes. Like, it just is crazy to me. Like, it's just not that deep. Like, why do we forget, like, how to treat people? I just don't get it, honestly, sometimes, you know? saying that I'm like the most respectful person at times. But I also think that I don't have a problem like seeing it and owning my part and saying, okay, well, like I need to make this right, you know? I don't know. That's where for me life is just this constant learning experience, you know, of how to grow as a person, as a human being, I guess. There's this billboard in front of me on this bus, and it says Fathers and Family Centers, building a noble legacy of fatherhood together. I kind of like that. Like, and it says employment, training, high school equivalency, parenting, counseling. Like, we talk so much about like mothers and single mothers, but we don't talk a lot about fathers in our society, you know, and the need to help and educate fathers. And I have a friend of mine that's a social worker, and she works for this inner city she works for this inner city community health or community center, and she's getting a lot of attention right now because she's like putting together some really powerful impacting programs, and I love her so much. I mean, some of these programs she's putting together are so cool, and I'm like, man, this is where true change occurs, you know, and getting involved on like a grassroots level to really change somebody's life. And when you realize that like just one thing that you say to somebody, or one thing that you do, or one little something small that you do for somebody else can have that kind of change in the world. I think it's like if you look back on your life, you know, and you think about the small things, not the big things, the small things that people have done for you that were like life changers, if that makes sense, you know. I remember this conversation that I had with my mentor when I was getting my master's degree, and she was like my mentor over a certain program that I was doing for my internship. And we, like, at the end, she had us all over to her house. It was very earthy. She was very kind of hippie-ish. And, okay, I was messing with this camera and I stopped it. So, back in the day, I did this, like, internship. And there was, like, it was like a unit. There was, like, 5 or 6 of us that were a part of this internship. And when we were done with it, she had, like, this end-of-the-year, like, deal at her house, like, party kind of thing. And, she had us do like a bunch of these like kind of exercises, and I remember this one, we like sat in a circle, and she gave each of us like a piece of paper, and she had written like a word on the piece of paper that was like what she thought embodied us as a person. And so we were going around the room, you know, and like, and I can remember at the time I was kind of like a little pissed that I got the word I got, right? This, I've never talked about this on here. This was like the first time I'd ever really like heard this word, honestly. Like I heard it obviously, the word before, but like this was the first time I had heard it used in these terms. And like I can remember this girl that I used to work with, she was also in my my internship unit, and she got like kindness or something. Well, my word was authentic, and I didn't understand it. And I remember later my mentor and I, who we became very good friends, we were talking, and I said, I don't like understand why you gave me this word. And she said, Peter, she goes, you just like are so unapologetically, like you just tell everything about who you are, and like, you know, like, hey, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And she's like, but you don't do it in kind of like an ugly way. She's like, you know, you're not arrogant about it, you know, you're not like, you know, always like, woe is me. She's like, there's always just like a kind of like, you own who you are. And she's like, you're very sure of who you are, you know, it's just very, it's genuine, like it comes across as like, this is who I am, you know. And I can remember when she told me that, like, and I really didn't believe it at the time, you know, like I really struggled with like, do I come across that way, like, you know. And I can remember like on the heels of having read Catcher in the Rye every year, you know, from the time that I was 16 going forward. It was one of my mom's favorite books. And Holden Caulfield in the book, you know, is really big on calling people phonies. And I think to some degree, this is going to sound crazy. I have mosquito bites all over my feet. I think to some degree, it was a lot about me not wanting to be phony. You know, like, I just... And to this day, I cannot stand anybody that is a fake or a phony. And I don't care in what way you represent that. I don't care if it's in giving this illusion of your life that isn't true. I don't care if it's, you know, lying to people about who you are. I don't care if it's, I don't know, like acting like you're a nicer person when you're really a shit. I don't care if it's that you are acting like you have more when you have less. I don't care what the issue is. The reason I can't stand it is that if somebody is deceitful about things like that, then to me, it's kind of pathetic, honestly. Like, I don't really understand it. Like, you know, I did this keeps on coming up recently. I've been thinking a lot about this Peterisms video that I did like a week ago about this conversation that I had a friend of mine when he was like, you know, you always lose by comparison, meaning that anytime that we compare our lives to somebody else, we lose, and I believe that, right? Well, I think a lot of people lie about the conditions of their lives because they compare themselves to other people. Well, then change what you want to change about your life. Look at that as motivating. Look at those people as role models. Like, wow, I want what that person has, or I want to work harder because of what this person has, or I want to be kinder because this person's a kinder person, or, you know, I want to be more forgiving because this person is more forgiving. But don't fake it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that that's where the whole kind of idea of the people of the lie come up, you know, that you can spot a phony a mile away. You really can. And it really ends up biting people in the ass. Because over time, when that's not really who you are, if who you really are, if who you're proclaiming to be is this really nice, kind, compassionate person, but you're really actually a very hurtful person, okay? Like, that's hard to keep up over time. The truth of who you are is going to be revealed at some point, right? Like, you can't keep that up forever. The reason why people want to be kind because they see other people who are kind is because they witness true kindness. It's not because they witness somebody who's acting like they're truly kind, but they're really like a shit, you know? That's the stuff of mystery novels, when at the last moment you're totally surprised. Oh wow, like, you wake up and you go, you were a murderer? I didn't know that. But that, like, isn't really typically the case in the real world. Do you know what I mean? It just isn't. And I think that we have a pretty good idea of who people are. Which is why I'm kind of a believer with the whole Maya Angelou thing. It's like, you know, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. They know themselves much better than you do. And the thing is like, when somebody shows me something, like, the first time, I'm like, okay, this one time does not make a person, you know, so then 2 or 3 times, 4 or 5 times, I'm kind of like, okay, this person doesn't need to be part of my life, you know? If I see that there's a consistent pattern with it, any kind of pattern, that person's out of my life, just out. Like, I will not deal with that. If I don't know where you stand, I've been so fucked over by people in my life, and I don't think I've been fucked over, I want to make this very clear, I don't think I've been fucked over any more or any less than anybody else, okay? I mean, I think we've all been equally fucked over a certain amount of times. And the reality is we probably fucked people over as well, too. I mean, we have to own that, right? I don't want to be that person today. I don't want to be that person that's fucking somebody over or bringing harm to them. I just don't care to be that person today. That speaks volumes about who I am, and I have no desire to do that to somebody else. I have no desire to be part of somebody else's misery. And, but when I see patterns of who somebody is, I'm kind of out. Like, you know what I mean? Now, if you're somebody that consistently screws up or gossips or is hurtful, but like owns it very quickly, and I can see that you're trying to learn from that behavior, then I think that's a different story. You know, I think that's somebody that their learning curve is like do, you know, like I'll stick around for that. But somebody that says one thing out of their mouth and does something else by their actions, I have no time for whatsoever. Those are people of the lie. Those are very dangerous people. And really only dangerous to themselves, because they're really just hurting themselves, like in the, you know, overall scheme of things. The overall sign, I think, that you can tell, well, I think when you see somebody that is kind of like, I was going to use Mean Girls as an example. I was going to say that I think that a lot of people that don't have a lot of friends, or don't have a lot of people in their life, or don't have people in their life, you know, whatever, but I don't know that I agree with that statement. Because I think there are a lot of people like my mother that just, my mother had a really hard time trusting people, you know, and she never was somebody that had a lot of friends in her life. She was very similar to me. You know, like I only have like really like Melissa and Tanya, and that's it, and my family, like, and I don't really feel like I need, I have like my friends on YouTube that I've made, you know, and that I talk to regularly and stuff like that, but that I would consider those like, you know, those are people I talk to every day, you know, but other than that, like, I don't know that I really feel like, if I met somebody tomorrow, you know, my sponsor is a very good friend of mine as well. So I don't know. I just don't, and I also don't have a whole lot of time for that. But when you see somebody that like is kind of like the center of everything, and then like one person, and then another one, and then another one falls, you know, away over time, it's like, what did people see that they no longer could support? You know what I mean? I've never really, to be honest with you, been in the inner circle that much of any kind of friendship group in my life to ever witness that. But I've always wondered that, you know, like, okay, well, there used to be like 6 or 8 of you, and then one by one, people started falling off, this ringleader, like, what happened, you know? I think in life, we have to do the best that we can at improving ourselves. You know, I'm not on this planet to fix somebody else. I'm not on this planet to clean up somebody else's messes. I'm not on this planet to make somebody else a better person. You know, if something that I say, or if some mistake I've made in my life that has a learning experience attached to it, or if something that I've learned in my life helps somebody else to grow, I think that's fantastic. And that is how I've truly grown too, is when I'll hear somebody else say, well, this is what happened to me and this is what I learned from it, which is why I watch a lot of like the Oprah aha moments, and I watch a lot of interviews about like life-changing things that happen with people, because I'm inspired by other people's stories, right? But that's not my role. My role is to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And if I'm doing that myself, then other people are going to see that, because they're going to be like, wow, like, you know, Peter seems to live a pretty good life. Like, he seems to really have insight into who he is as a person. And he seems happy. Like, I want what he has, therefore I'll do what he does, which is take a look at my own life, right? It just is not that deep. And it's not like I invented it, and it's not like I'm at the top of the hierarchy. I mean, I'm just one of everybody else, just trying to learn like the rest of us, you know, and try to have the best life possible. And I want the same thing for you guys too, you know, so break down that wall a little bit of what you put out there to the world, because you're concerned about how it comes across, or how you come across, or somebody will think you're silly or whatever, you know. It's like, okay, BookTube is like this crazy place, right? So on BookTube, you see like grown-ass adults like losing it over Harry Potter, and I love it, right? Because you get to see like their inner geek. You get to see like the inner kid inside, right? That still loves all of the fantasy stories and all that kind of stuff. And there's something about that to me that's like so so authentic, so genuine of like, this is who I am, you know, and I'm not, my feet are so itching, you guys. I got bit by mosquitoes when I was walking outside with the dogs. And I think that's kind of to some degree what I'm talking about. It's just being who you are, you know? Like if you love top 40 pop music, just because it's not the coolest thing in the entire world, who cares? Just say, I love pop music, you know? And if you like country, say you like country, you know? I love country. You know, be honest about who you are. If you like to only read, you know, I don't know, Danielle Steele novels, say I only read Danielle Steele novels. One of the things I love about Tanya is like she never bullshits about who she is. You know, when you meet Tanya, you know who she is. And she's somebody that inspires me because she's so unapologetically authentic. Like she's just what you see is what you get always. And so like, I don't know. A long time ago, it stopped being important to me if I was cool. You know, I realized ain't a whole bunch of us out there that cool to begin with. Let's just be for real. You know what I mean? Most of us, I think, are weirdos in our own lane, just trying to like have some people that relate to us. It just isn't that deep, you know? And I think a lot of us, it's that whole kind of high school mentality of who's popular and who's not, that who makes that shit solid anyway. Like, why does that even matter, you know? But like, I think that most of us that look back on like our high school and middle school days know that it seemed like those people had it easier. So then translate that to growing up. Well, if you're that person, then it seems like things would be easier. But I don't know that that's necessarily the case, you know? I don't know. I remember I did a vlog like a while ago talking about like when I was like 18 to 22, like before I got sober, I was like, my apartment was such an example of my soul. Like people walked in and they would be like, holy shit, like they loved my apartment. Okay, it was nothing fancy, you guys, like not at all. I had like art posters thumbtacked to the wall. I had like bookcases made out of like wood and bricks. I had this old buffet table that's in our basement now that I have my TV and stereo on. I had like dried flowers everywhere. I had this like this bird cage, this extravagant bird cage that I pulled out of the trash, and I had this like fake bird sitting in it. I had these Barbie dolls on my windowsill. When people would come in and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I love your apartment so much," and I'd just be like, "Oh, thanks," you know, like whatever I liked, I put up, you know, whatever made me happy, I put up. And I always had music playing. I always had candles and incense going. Like that was my soul. Like that apartment was my soul. And I think like I've gotten so far away from that because like as you get a job and as you settle down a little bit, you become like more of like the establishment, you know, and like you have to like, you know, it's all about that. And like I miss that. I want to get back to that. And I've been slowly like allowing myself to, you know, do that. And every day, because I listen to audiobooks so much in my car, but every day, like I just like put my iTunes shuffle on and I just like blast music that I love to listen to and drive around and sing and dance because I think it's of my soul. You know, I think it's really important to, like, what is your soul? Like, what is my soul, you know? What's my soul collective? And it's funny, like, as I'm thinking that, like, what is your soul? Like, who is your soul? I'm thinking of, like, this guy that's just, like, dancing around, and he's got, like, very colorful, and I never wear a lot of colors, you know? Very colorful, lots of loud music playing, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I think that you have to kind of, like, figure out who your soul is. I just want to have a lot of fun and put goodness out there in the world. I think that I want to be a contribution, not a distraction. And, I think that things like love, kindness, and compassion are so attractive to me because people that have that on their faces and they're just so, you know, smiling and whatever, they're people who get it, I think. The ones that are negative, sad, not necessarily sad because we can't fight that, but negative and hateful and destructive, like, so speaks of somebody's own soul. It doesn't speak of anybody else. And I don't want to, and I've been there in my life before, you know, where I was real destructive. When I was using, I'd take down anybody in my path. I didn't care, you know, I just really didn't care. But I'm not that person today, and I'm still standing, you know. We can't help if we're sad, you know. We're going to go through stages of our life where we're sad, and we're going to go through stages of our life where we're not super motivated and we're down. I've had a lot of those moments in my life, and sometimes I think it's important to just kind of stay in that moment. You know, you're not going to always feel the best that you feel, and I really think that life is the bitter and the sweet. And whenever I say this, somebody doesn't hear what I say, so I'm going to say this. I truly think that life is the bitter and the sweet. I think it's the positive and the negative both. I think we have to have a combination. You know, I think you have to have like the down times to recognize the good times. But I think if we got to choose, wouldn't you choose the good times? Wouldn't you choose like love and laughter? I would. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. I've had a really good day. It has been awesome. That swim was fantastic tonight. And I'm gonna get off here, and I can't believe tomorrow's Friday. Ever since we came back from Connecticut, I feel like my whole schedule has just been completely messed up. So I don't have a lot to do tomorrow. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna get up, get my coffee, write. I'm kind of up now. I should just stay up, but then I'll be asleep by 1 o'clock. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna write, get coffee. We'll get coffee, then write. And I don't know, Alex doesn't get off till 8 o'clock tomorrow night. He's got some late meetings. And yeah, and it's the start of our weekend. I don't think he has anything to do on Saturday, so maybe we'll just get to go to the pool. Hopefully it'll be nice, you know. All right, you guys, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.